Israel Adesanya.
28-0!
The McGregor announcing
about a guy who
Francis Ngannou.
What's up, the homies? Leighton here for UFC Gambling Addicts, back again for another UFC full card breakdown and predictions video. This one's going to be Leon Edwards taking on Belal Muhammed. Really good main event, difficult prediction to make. As always, before we get into it, smash that like button, head kick, elbows, whatever you want to do. Now, we do have to speak a little bit about UFC 259. Let's be honest, guys, this card, amazing, right? The matchups, they lived up to expectation. The main event, not as action-packed as we would have wanted, but we understand why. You know, this is a tactical game both guys are playing. And Jan Blachowicz held his own, you know. Peter Yan, Aljamain Sterling, we do have to speak about that too. Now this is, you know, I've heard a lot of sides. I've spoken to a few of you guys. And, you know, it's controversial, right? It really is controversial. There's going to be a bunch of you guys who think, look, that knee, man, that knee was bad and he maybe couldn't have continued. And there's going to be a bunch of you guys who think, listen, it was a bad knee. It was a bad knee, but I've seen Anthony Smith get up. I've seen Michael Bisping take a knee from Anderson Silva and he got up. Maybe he milked it, right? There's two groups here, okay? The bottom line is there's going to be a rematch. We're not going to get Peter Yan at -110 again, and that's what hurts, but there's going to be a rematch, guys, so let's try to move on from that. UFC 259, it was a really good card. First fight on this card, we've got Jason Witt taking on Mattheus Semelsberger. Guys, there's many 50-50 matchups on this card, in my opinion. Many fights that can go either way. And as we go through that card, I'm going to let you know which ones I feel are 50-50. This is one of them. Jason Witt versus Mattheus Semelsberger, 50-50. So Jason Witt, a lot of experience, 1 win, 1 loss inside the UFC. He got starched by Sato, so not the greatest of UFC debuts, but he bounced back with a nice win, used his wrestling, used his experience. Mattheus Semelsberger, not the most impressive debut, but he was able to get a win. He didn't get starched. Hasn't got a lot of experience, right? And that's what makes this one such a 50-50 matchup. Jason Witt hasn't got the best chin in the world. If you've seen a few of this guy's matchups prior to the UFC and the UFC debut, it's clear to see this guy hasn't got a granite chin, but he has got a lot of experience. In my opinion, 50-50, right? I think if Jason Witt is going to win this matchup, it's going to be the wrestling. If Semelsberger wins this matchup, he's going to clip the chin. I'm going to side with Jason Witt. I think the experience could be the difference. But man, like I said, there's many 50-50 matchups, and this is one of them. But I'm going to side with Jason Witt via decision. My odds would be Jason Witt -120 and would put Semelsberger +100. I mean, even the same line. Let's go -110 each. And the actual numbers, we've got Jason Witt +100, Semelsberger -115. Yeah, it's spot on. I mean, if Jason Witt is going to win, he has so much more MMA experience. Semelsberger hasn't been to that third round where it's 1-1. He hasn't been pushed like Jason Witt. But of course, you know, like I said, the flip side, the chin isn't great. So if you're putting money down, it could be a great spot because the line is even. But again, you understand why the line is even. Jin Yu Frey taking on Gloria de Paula. Maybe this is a 50-50 again, in all honesty. Jin Yu Frey hasn't been great so far in the UFC. She is 0-2. Her debut though, if you can remember back to that one, she did take a round off Kay Hansen. Went on to lose the fight, but the first round, it looked pretty okay. Against Loma Lookboonmee, not so much. You know, Loma really used her Muay Thai beautifully in that fight. Jinh Frey, 0-2. She needs to do something here. What's it going to be? It's probably going to be the takedown, right? Against a kickboxer in Gloria. For those of you who don't know this girl, I don't really know her too much myself. She is a kickboxer. So the path to victory for Gloria would be to kickbox, the same way Loma Lookboonmee also kickboxed. The path to victory for Jinh Frey, eliminate the kickboxing. Eliminate that kickboxing by level changing, shooting in on the legs, taking the fight to the mat. What's it going to be? More people seem to be laying money on the kickboxer, but I actually think Jinh Frey shooting for that level change could be quite likely, you know. I wouldn't bank on it too much. It's not a confident spot either side, in my opinion. But I am going to take Jinh. I haven't picked her yet. I went against her with Kay Hansen. Went against her with Loma Lookboonmee. I'm going to give her a shot here. I think if she level changes, chooses the right game plan, which is grappling, I think she could win. So I'm going to pick Jinh Frey via decision. I think decision either side could be a good play here. Courtney Casey taking on JJ Aldrich. Let's be honest, again, 50-50. You know, I don't like to break down fights and just be sat on the fence. I don't like to do it, guys. But again, you know, I have to be honest, man. This one goes either way. Courtney Casey has more experience, but hasn't exactly become more of a killer year by year, if that makes sense. She does have a nice low kick. Her wrestling is pretty okay. Sometimes she has the advantage in that area, other times not. You know, for example, against Gillian Robertson, her wrestling was not good enough. Other times, maybe so. JJ Aldrich is more of a kickboxer than a wrestler. Taekwondo, I believe. But again, this is a girl who kind of always seems to be in close matchups, right? Even against Macy Barber, when she dropped her in that first round. Later went on to lose that fight. So JJ Aldrich, by no means a killer. But same with Courtney Casey. She's by no means a killer. Both of these girls have a pretty good skill set. And they're coming up against each other. So, yeah, 50-50, again, in my opinion. Will it be the experience of Courtney Casey? Or would it be that Taekwondo background of JJ Aldrich? For me personally, guys, I'm going to side with Courtney Casey. I think that experience may be the factor. Having said that, JJ Aldrich, really good camp. Team elevation, right? So, man, 50-50, all over it. I'm going to take Courtney Casey, split decision, but I wouldn't be surprised if it went the other way. The moral of the story, don't put a lot of money on this matchup. My numbers would be exactly the same, -110 each. And the actual numbers, Courtney Casey +120, JJ Aldrich -140. I would say there's a little bit of value there on Courtney Casey. But if I'm imagining this fight playing out as close as it could, the real value is just save your money. Don't even bet on it, man. Nasrat Haqparast taking on Rafa Garcia. Now this one isn't a 50-50 prediction. I'm sure a lot of you guys feel that way too. Nasrat is a guy we may be overhyped, maybe, but it's clear to see this man's potential. Good wrestling, really good boxing pressure coming forward. I remember watching this guy against Mark Diakisi live in Germany. I was just so impressed. You know, the way this guy came forward with the pressure, so impressive. Drew Dober was able to sleep him, and at that moment we all kind of realised maybe he's not what we initially felt he was. You know, maybe he's not like a go on to be a future champion, but the potential is there. You know, you can see this man's potential. Now, his opponent, Rafa Garcia, taking this matchup on super short notice. Who is Rafa Garcia? Right? Now, that's the danger. That is the danger for Nasrat, because Rafa can come in here and basically do a Kevin Kroon job, where you make a name off a guy in round one, you've got no pressure, you're taking the fight on short notice. There's no pressure. Rafa Garcia is going to try and make a name off of Nasrat. Now, the one thing I noticed in watching tape on Rafa Garcia, the lead leg, the front leg is quite stationary, and I think Nasrat is going to target that lead leg. Calf kicks, but most importantly, I think he's going to level change into that single leg and basically take the fight to the mat. Make sure he isn't in any trouble standing on the feet. Because like I said, this is a dangerous matchup for Nasrat. This guy can make a name off him, and I don't think he's going to let that happen. So I'll take Nasrat to level change and dominate this fight on the mat. Maybe a stoppage on the mat. If not, a decision. So I'll take Nasrat. I'll take him inside the distance. I think he could stop this fight on the mat. Rani Yahya taking on Ray Rodriguez. Now this one, you think about this one and straight away you think Rani Yahya, jiu-jitsu. Ray Rodriguez got choked out in his debut. Rani Yahya has really good jiu-jitsu. You're putting 2 and 2 together and straight away you're thinking Rani Yahya is going to submit this man. You know what, guys? Maybe it does go down like that. Maybe it does. But I rewatched Rani Yahya and Enrique Barzola. In that third round, Rani Yahya was exhausted. This man, more exhausted than Aljamain Sterling, right? That's how tired this guy was. So you're thinking that's how it's going to go down. It's going to be a choke. That this guy has really good jiu-jitsu. Just too good. He's too good for Ray Rodriguez. But look at Rodolfo Vieira too, right? We straight away, jiu-jitsu. That's going to be the outcome. Maybe it is, guys. Maybe it is. But there is a difference between Rani Yahya and Vieira, by the way. Rodolfo Vieira isn't that experienced in MMA. Rani Yahya, a lot of experience. Many, many years stepping into the octagon. So for everyone taking Rani Yahya, I do want to point that out, you know. Maybe it doesn't go down like Rodolfo Vieira, because Ronnie, at the end of the day, he is a mixed martial artist. He has spent many years stepping into the octagon. But I didn't like that last round against Barzola. I'll be honest with you, I didn't like it. Very, very tired. Very fatigued. Coming towards the end of his career now. Ray Rodriguez, by no means elite, but this guy's a dog. You know, I've seen a couple interviews this week and he's speaking about not being scared of the ground game. You know, not being scared of Rani Yahya. And I'm actually liking his vibe, guys. Maybe I'm going more with heart than logic on this one. Because the logic is exactly what I just said, right? To start this breakdown. That is the logic of this fight. Rani Yahya maybe submits Ray Rodriguez. But I've got to go with my heart, man. Sometimes it works, you know? You go with your heart, it works. You go with your heart, it backfires, you know? Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I'm going to go with it here, guys. I think Ray Rodriguez maybe finds a late stoppage. I'm going to take Ray Rodriguez, either a late stoppage or a close decision win. But again, you know, the logic side, I'm sure a lot of you guys are with that side. I would still put Rani Yahya as a favourite. Maybe minus 170, minus 160. And the actual numbers, we've got, where are they? Rani Yahya minus 300. So, yeah, no one's given a chance to Ray Rodriguez. but I'm gonna be one of the people in the minority that gives Ray Rodriguez a chance. Ronnie Yahya just expected to go in there and choke this guy. Brian Kelleher did. But Ray Rodriguez shot, if you remember rightly. Maybe he doesn't do that here. Maybe he learns his lesson, prepares correctly for Ronnie Yahya, and wins the striking. Definitely disagree with minus 300. I would put Ronnie a favourite, but minus 300, too much. Charles Jourdain, Air Jourdain, taking on Marcelo Rojo. Now, Marcelo Rojo was supposed to debut against Raoni Barcelos. Arguably got a much better debut here. Having said that, Charles Jourdain, pretty slick. You know, this guy is pretty slick. He debuted outside of his weight class, got beat up, dropped back down, and in his weight class, really slick. He was clipped by Josh Culibao, so, you know, there is that Clippers chance. Marcelo Rojo doesn't exactly excel in any one area. He's not an elite wrestler. You know, just seems to be a tough guy who deserves to be getting the chance in the UFC. Like I said, this is a better debut than Raoni Barcelos. Having said that, I would still probably side with Charles Jourdain. Just being quicker, slicker, just, you know, just more slick in there, really. I wouldn't bank on it too heavy because, like I said, Josh Culibao did clip him and Marcelo Rojo's looking to clip ya. So, yeah, don't bank on it too much. So I'll take Charles Jourdain via decision. My numbers would be Charles Jourdain minus 200, Rojo plus 170. Angela Hill taking on Ashley Yoder. Now, this fight was supposed to take place 2 weeks ago. We've already broken this fight down, so I'm not going to spend too much time on it. My original prediction 2 weeks ago was Angela Hill is going to win the rematch. Who is the better striker in this matchup? I think Angela Hill has way more output, much better Muay Thai than Ashley Yoder. Ashley Yoder does have the length, but she doesn't seem to sit into her punches. If Ashley Yoder wins this matchup, it's probably going to be a submission or top control, round in, round out. But if you notice in watching tape on Ashley Yoder, she's quite unorthodox in her takedowns. She tries to take your back on the way down and usually ends up on the bottom. So I'm going to stick with my original prediction, and that's Angela Hill to win the rematch. And I'll take that via decision. I believe I priced Angela Hill around minus 250, and I'm going to stick with that. The actual numbers, we've got Angela Hill minus 400. You know, maybe starting to get overpriced. And when you have such a big underdog like Yoder at plus 300, you start to ask yourself, you know, how big of an underdog does Yoder have to be to find value? When do we play Yoder? Some people are going to see that plus 300 and they're going to see value there. Others may not take that stab, you know. Maybe Angela Hill decision minus 150 is better value. For me, guys, I'm going to stick with Angela Hill. I'm not going to play her outright at minus 400. That's insane. Maybe a decision prop. Alright, homies. You know what time it is. If you waited to smoke with me, amen. If you've been smoking this whole time, double amen. If you're not a smoker, but you enjoy the smoke breaks, triple amen. Alright, homies, as always, before we get into the smoke break itself, make sure you hams at that like button if you haven't already. And I'm always open for discussing these matchups further, you know. If I've broken down a fight and I didn't hit that fight from a perspective that you would have liked, leave the comment, you know. If you've got a question I'm always open to discussing these matchups further. Okay, so the smoke break topic this week. Ranj. Ranj has his own YouTube channel. It's called Kape Comparison Picks. Make sure you check that out. Really, really good channel. Now, Ranj messaged me. Thank you, by the way, Ranj. I'm going to read your message. The message reads, shut out negativity. Don't let haters or naysayers distract you from your goals. Use that topic and run with it like you do. So, thank you for that message, Ranj. Naysayers. Now, we don't like a naysayer, guys. Do you know what I mean? And maybe, we have to be honest. We're not perfect humans. Maybe we've been that person ourselves too. Maybe we've told someone, or even jokingly, right? Maybe we've said to someone, you can't do that. This is a naysayer, right? Now, I don't know if this is really personal to you, Ranj. I don't know if someone's specifically told you, no, you can't do that. But how do we address this, guys? How do we address this? It's simple. It's really simple. This person just doesn't have the energy that you have. They have the complete opposite energy to what you have. Right? Arnold said that when people said to him, it's impossible, what he heard was, it's possible. When people said, you can't, he heard, I can. When people said no, he heard yes. Right? That's the energy we've got to use, guys. If someone tells you your dream is too big, your goal is too big, I don't think you're going to get there. You just have to hear, your dream is good enough. You can do that. I do think you will get there. Don't even allow the negativity. Don't allow somebody else to tell you, you can't do it. Because they don't know you. They don't know what you're capable of, right? And it's just like Nelson Mandela said, it always seems impossible until someone does it. Makes sense? It makes sense, guys. It's always impossible until someone proves it is possible. That alone tells you anything you set out for, you can achieve. If somebody hasn't done it, you could be the first to do it. And if somebody has done it, they've proven that you can do it too, So don't allow naysayers to tell you, man, I don't think you can do it. It's not true. And don't allow that to creep into your energy. You know what you're capable of. You know your work ethic. You know your determination and your passion. And with that, work towards it, man. Prove them wrong, but most importantly, prove yourself right. Yeah? That's more important than proving someone wrong. I've spoken to many of you guys on Instagram and in the comment section, and I've seen and read really motivational stories, right? And this brings me back to one. I got a message on Instagram, and this guy basically told me, look, bro, I'm handicapped and I spent years in a rehabilitation center. And you know what? I broke out. Shawshank Redemption style. I broke out, got my own place, and started living my life. Now, I'm not advising, if you're listening to this and let's say, for example, you're in prison, do not blame me if you attempt a Shawshank Redemption, right? Do not say I told you to do that. But the point of the story is, this man knew that escaping from places existed. He knew that people had done it. He knew it was possible. And he done it himself, man. He got his life back. It's motivational. You know, it can be done, guys. So whatever dream you have, Ranj, personally, it can be done, bro. You know what you're capable of. And I watch your channel week in, week out, man. I see your energy. I see your passion. I feel that family vibe, that love, that family love. I know you have dreams and goals. And you're going to smash it, bro. And to all the homies listening, the same thing, guys. This kind of goes hand in hand with last week. About when you see a guy who's doing well, take motivation from it. Take inspiration from it. Realize that if he's doing well, I can do well too. And to all the homies listening, block out the naysayers, block out the negativity, like Ranj said, and smash those goals, man. Let's go. So amen, guys. We are the Amen Gang. If you've got a smoke break topic that you would like me to elaborate on, leave it in the comment section or hit me on Instagram. Alright, homies, let's get into breaking down these main card fights. Alright, guys, moving into the next one, we've got Eryk Anders taking on Darren Stewart. This one's 50-50, I've got to be honest. We've got a guy in Eryk Anders, big power, right? Knockout power in abundance. But if you look at his recent matchups, he looks like he wants to wrestle. He wants to take down the opponent, push him up against the fence. Now, if you've watched Darren Stewart over his UFC career, this guy kinda gets taken down. Even against Verbinski over in Cage Warriors, which was originally supposed to take place in the UFC, Verbinski kept taking him down, kept pushing him up against the fence. So it's literally going to be one or the other. Either Eryk Anders has his way with the wrestling, pushes Darren up against the fence, basically frustrates him, or Darren Stewart's going to use his boxing at range. I can see both happening. I can see Eryk Anders frustrating Darren. I could also see Darren having good moments when he's off of the fence. It really comes down to personal preference. I'm going to side with Darren Stewart. Not super confident. I think it's a close one. But I think maybe the boxing is the difference. So I'll take Darren Stewart via decision. My numbers, I'd put Darren -150, Eryk Anders +120. And the actual numbers, we've got Darren -170, -180, Eryk Anders +150. Let me know what you think of this line. How many of you guys are taking Darren? How many of you guys are taking Eryk? I feel like we're going to be split. Really difficult one to predict. Mattheus Nikolai taking on Manel Kape. We're going to start with Mattheus. So Mattheus comes into this matchup 3 wins, 1 loss inside the UFC. However, he was cut from his UFC contract like 2.5 years ago, and he's now getting another opportunity. Maybe harshly cut in the first place, 3 wins, 1 loss, and gets cut from the UFC. Maybe a little bit harsh. From what we remember, this guy does have pretty powerful hands. His hands are pretty quick, but I'm not too sure if that's going to play into this matchup. Because if you take a look at Manel Kape, he debuted, right? It wasn't too impressive. He backpedaled, it didn't look good. But if he does the same thing here, he's probably going to pick apart Mattheus Nikolai, right? I think he's much quicker on the back foot and coming forward. And that's probably going to play into this fight. It didn't work against Pantoja. And the game plan, I didn't really agree with it. After talking all that trash and then backpedaling, I didn't agree. But if for some reason he does choose to do that here, he's probably still going to score more. So for those reasons, I'm going to take Manel Kape via decision. Maybe even a stoppage this time. I think he could potentially stop Nikolai too. My numbers, I'd put Manel Kape -140, Mattheus plus 110. And that's basically the numbers we've got here. You know, you can't put too much confidence into Kape because of that debut. You know, backpedaled a lot. But if he did do that again, it's probably going to go for him rather than against him. Jonathan Martinez taking on Davy Grant. And we're going to start with Martinez. So Martinez is 4 wins, 2 losses inside the UFC. Primarily a striker. Really, really slick. I mean, you look at this guy strike. So impressive. He got that split decision loss to Andre Ewell. I picked against him there, but man, I think that fight went down wrong. I think Jonathan Martinez probably should have won that decision. His debut wasn't great either. But apart from that, you know, Jonathan Martinez has only looked impressive. The way he put out Frankie Saenz, nasty. The knee he caught Pingwan Lee with, nasty. Jonathan Martinez, really a technical striker. You don't want to get timed by this guy. If this guy can time you right, he's going to put you to sleep. Now Davy Grant, I have a lot of respect for this fighter too. He's a grappler. He's a scrappy guy. If he can get in there and start throwing bombs at your head, he can hurt you. I have to side with Jonathan Martinez. I just think he's a better striker and just more in his prime. You know, Davy Grant, good experience. Even has a win over Marlon Vera a few years ago. But Jonathan Martinez is going to look to time Davy Grant with many nasty strikes. And I think he will have success doing that. So I'm going to take Jonathan Martinez by a TKO in round number 2. And my numbers, I'd put, you know, I'm pretty confident on Jonathan Martinez. So I'd put him maybe minus 250 and put Davy Grant plus 200. And the actual numbers, Jonathan Martinez minus 300. You know, that says it all. A lot of people are seeing this guy as a sure win. And it's hard to say it's not going to happen. Dan Ige taking on Gavin Tucker. This is another pick'em, guys. Straight down the middle. You can go either side on this one. I'm sure there's a lot of fans of Dan Ige. I'm a fan myself. The only time I've ever picked against him was with Calvin Kattar. That's the only time. Apart from that, I've been with him every step of the way. You know, even in close fights where he's got split decision wins. His wrestling, his jiu-jitsu, really high level. Now Gavin Tucker, you look at his most recent performance against Billy Q. This guy is proving he can compete at the highest level. His Muay Thai kicks, nasty. Up close, knees to the body, elbows. Also has a really good wrestling game himself. So this one, man, straight down the middle. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people on Dan Ige. A lot of people on Gavin Tucker. I've only picked against Dan Ige once. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to go against him here. I think Gavin Tucker does have that wrestling game. You know, Dan Ige kind of relies on that wrestling to help him win close fights. Gavin Tucker has really good wrestling. So if Dan Ige can get past Gavin Tucker here, you know, really proving that, you know what, I'm going to climb again. I'm going to get to that main event again. And I'm going to show you I'm not going away. Gavin Tucker also on the climb. This one is going to be... It's going to be close, guys. This one is a really exciting matchup. I'm going to side with Gavin Tucker via decision. Wouldn't be surprised if it went to Ige. That's how good this one is. My numbers, I'd keep them dead down the middle. You know, minus 110 each side. And we've got Ige minus 140. Gavin Tucker plus 120. I don't think Ige has ever lost as a minus. You know, if someone can check that, if someone has the answer to that, has Dan Ige ever lost as a favourite? I don't think he has. Co-main event, homies, we've got Misha Cirkunov taking on Ryan Spann. It's a pick'em. This is another pick'em, guys. Misha Cirkunov. Primarily a wrestler, a guy who wants to take you down, use his smothering jiu-jitsu, and basically dominate you on the mat. Here's the problem. His chin isn't great. If you can clip him on the feet, he will go down. Ryan Spann. This guy, pretty good hands. You know, the hands come pretty quick. Chin isn't exactly great itself. He's more of a striker. So, two guys who haven't got great chins, Ryan Spann is still going to take his chances here, right? But here's the problem with Ryan Spann. Hasn't got good conditioning. Cardio doesn't really hold up. If you're taking Misha, I think you have to hope his chin holds up in round 1, doesn't get clipped. If you're taking Ryan Spann, I think you've got to hope that he clips him, because if he doesn't, he could end up getting submitted later on. It's a pick'em. I'm going to take Ryan Spann to clip the chin in round 1. But if it doesn't happen, you know, it's not a shock. It's a straight pick'em. You can go either side. And whatever side you go on, you shouldn't be too confident, you know? My numbers, I'd put Ryan Spann minus 130, Misha Cirkunov plus 100. And the actual numbers, the complete opposite. We've got Misha minus 130, Ryan Spann plus 100. Yeah, kind of understandable. I mean, if Ryan doesn't clip him, it's probably going to go Misha's way after round 1. But again, guys, you know, if you're taking Ryan Spann, let me know in the comment section. If you're taking Misha, let me know. Let's see how many, you know, we're going to be split. You know we're already going to be split on this one. Main event, my homies. We've got Leon Edwards taking on Belal. Remember the name, Muhammed. This is a great main event. If you haven't smashed the like button, make sure you do so. If you're not subscribed, hey, hit that red button too, bro. Okay, so I'm going to be honest with you guys. All week leading up to doing this video, I've been on Belal Muhammed. I'm going to be honest. But I've kind of switched sides, man. Last second, I've jumped ship, guys. Now, initially, I'm thinking Belal, activity. He's fighting guys. He's looking good. He's always showing high output. The wrestling, a workhorse, right? This guy he's underrated. You know, he really is underrated. And maybe that's the story. Maybe we're looking too much into Leon Edwards and the real story really is activity, workhorse, dark horse, output, wrestling, Belal Muhammed pressure. You know, we love to see it. But in watching tape on Leon Edwards, this guy, the hands are so quick. They're so quick, guys. You know, you watch him and you think he's pretty basic. You think, you know, he's doing everything right. He's not doing anything too special. But look at how quick the hand comes. You know, it's so quick. It's deceptive. You know, you don't see him doing anything special. But that straight shot, straight to the face, it's like a piston. It really is. Leon Edwards, really quick, deceptive boxing. Now, if Belal Muhammed can level change and look to drain Leon Edwards, maybe he's able to take over. But I think Leon Edwards is mainly going to score using his boxing. You know, I think he's just going to continue to just find the target, and the target being Belal Muhammed's face, you know. I do think that's going to be the story. And maybe the story is close, because like I said, initially, I'm thinking Belal. But as I've got towards the podcast, the rounds I think are going to be boxing. It's going to be a Leon Edwards, fast jabs, you know, just finding the target. So my prediction is going to be Leon Edwards, 48-47. And you know what? I really wouldn't be shocked if he set down Belal Muhammed. I really wouldn't. He isn't known for knocking guys out, but it's so deceptive how quick his hands are. I wouldn't be shocked, you know? So I'll take Leon Edwards, and my numbers, I'd put Leon minus 170, Belal plus 140. And the actual numbers, we've got Leon Edwards minus 260, minus 270. If I'm being honest, man, Belal, there's value. There is value, you know? Plus 220 says he's not going to do much. But that's all he does. You know, he does more than much. His output is so high. But I do see Leon tagging him. You know, just Belal loves to come forward. Maybe sometimes over aggressive. You know, doesn't let off the gas pedal. Maybe that goes against him this time. As always, homies, I've enjoyed breaking down these matchups. Leave your underdogs in the comment section. And my Instagram, if you want to hit that up, it'll be at the end of this video. Alright guys, peace.